Fun fact. It's been over a year since the previous Project Flight update, and ever since the first sneak peek of Update 9 was released, me, as well as pretty much every other Project Flight YouTuber, has been telling you that the update was right around the corner. And still, a year later, no update. Some people may claim that developers are inactive, but that simply isn't true, as every once in a while, the developers just drop a massive bomb on us and say, oh yeah, by the way, we're adding X feature in the next update. And then we're all like, wait, what? Like that dev mod video, where out of nowhere they announced that they had modeled pretty much the entire of London. Well, everybody, they've done it again. Let's get to the point. Is Project Flight adding interiors in Update 9? Well, kind of. They have announced that they have added parallax interiors to each airliner. But what does this actually mean? Parallax interior is basically an effect on the windows that make it look like there's an interior, when in reality there isn't. This is the same effect used for various airports across the Project Flight map, including Punta Cana. Now, some people could argue that this video is clickbait and that parallax interiors are not real interiors. And to be fair, you'd have a valid point, but Project Flight has mentioned that adding actual interiors would be too impractical, so this is the closest we're going to get to an actual interior. And let's not forget that parallax interiors are used in some of the base airliners from Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, as well as the fact that it is used in some professionally developed Microsoft Flight Simulator scenery and airports. So really, you could compare what Project Flight is adding to some much more advanced professional simulators. They're also adding an interior to Land's End, with no mention of it being parallax, so it's safe to assume that this will be a real interior, and that makes sense considering the airport's size. Okay, now we've addressed the elephant in the room, we should focus our attention on the rest of the features Project Flight has just announced. Project Flight is adding night lighting to the game. I guess this could be counted as one of the boring features no one really cares about, but let's just consider for a second that this is what we have now, and this is what we'll have in Update 9. Crazy, right? I get the feeling Project Flight's doing a lot of work on making the scenery better this update, which is something I didn't really know Project Flight needed, but after seeing how they've added London and the new night lighting, it's just going to completely elevate the game experience, and it's going to be way more to look at instead of just land and water. I don't know if this actually counts as a feature, but they're adding this castle thing, which I assume is going to be off the coast of the UK. I'm not entirely sure, and I think that it looks insanely cool. To most people, this is probably just any other castle, but this indicates that Project Flight is trying to add more points of interest around the map. I mean, look at London, it's just flooded with them. This is such a big step for Project Flight, because at the moment, the only things that are there to see is airports and that boat near Menorca, which, by the way, is being removed in Update 9. Sorry if you didn't know that already. Update 9 is no doubt going to be the biggest update Project Flight has ever seen, but soon, and I actually mean it this time, it will arrive. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching.